I wanted to thank you for taking time to speak with me today.
Thank you too for your time, for your interest, for your feedback on the new album.
I wanted to ask you if you could take me back in time and tell me how this all became a reality.
Well, it all started in 2016 after we disbanded from the previous band we had. We were playing death metal back in the day, so I wanted to explore new musical directions. And back in the day, I used to be, well, I am right now, but back in the day, I was a huge fan of doom metal. So I thought, yeah, let's play doom metal, right? And then the debut album, Morning Clock, happened. Took me 3 years to compose, record many ideas, but zero experience. Uh, don't know where to go, but I had a vision in my mind. I wanted to compose the songs
Hmm.
and then turn it into a full band. I wanted to be the head of it, my music and stuff, and then find some band members and take it onto the stage.
And
So
Black Lumina, as I spoke about with you earlier, is an amazing album from top to bottom. I wanted to ask you, what time did you begin work on this album?
after the lockdown, I wanted to make another album because I found some mistakes on the first record, especially with my voice. It was weak in a few parts, and I started composing songs back in the lockdown sessions, as I as I call them,
Hmm.
2021. But later, I wanted to change the musical direction and try something new. So I thought, let's leave doom metal to the veterans and explore new paths, right? So
Hmm.
also, when I started writing the new songs, I was listening to Cure, Depeche Mode, Tindersticks, and I thought so it would be fun to explore this kind of path. And last summer, I started composing the songs for Black Lumina. The recordings took place from October till February, and it was, it was quick. Thinking that the first album took 3 years, now I was working on it for only 6 months. But I think it was. I am very satisfied with the result. I enjoy listening to this record. I love it so much. I think we did the trick on this one.
And I wanted to ask you about a track that really stood out for me, which is The Frame. I wanted to ask if you could speak on that track.
Yeah, of course. I love this song. I love this song. The orchestration, the bass line, the keyboards, and it is a very very personal matter. Actually, it's my father's restaurant that I write about. It sounds, I don't know, it sounds ridiculous, but it's a place that I have so many memories as a kid. And last summer, my father told me that we were going to close it down.
Mm.
That had a hard impact on me. So I thought that it would be fun to take this to the lyrics. I also wanted to transfer those emotions in a way that anyone can listen to the song and think about a person that he misses or stuff.
Sure.
If you listen to the lyrics, you cannot understand that I'm talking about a place. Actually,
Right.
this place is empty at the end of this song. It's the last lyric of the song, but it's empty because someone is missing from there. The entire place is closed down. You can You can think whatever you want by listening to the track. But I'm so glad you like it. And when I wrote the track, I thought that it would be the best opener for this record. And I was arranging the track list of the album, and I thought, yeah, we should make it the opening track. I think it's straight to the point to know what you will hear into this record by listening to the frame. I think
Absolutely.
it did the trick right.
And another track that truly stood out for me and that I loved its placement was 84. I wanted to ask if you could speak on that track as well.
Yes, of course. The title came from one of my favorite books, 1984, by the one and only George Orwell.
Absolutely.
So I thought that it would be a good idea to write about, the rise of the AI, and that's the virtual hand of God that guides
Mhm.
every step. When someone has a question now, you can use ChatGPT what to do here, but this, in my opinion, shuts down your brain,
Sure.
so everyone can, manipulate you. The digital manipulation that I talk about into the song. Also, about the title, I thought, 1984, yeah, the best book, but 1984, it's in the past. Then put the name 2084, the near future. But I thought I ended up on 84. And the funny question is, when they ask me why 84, what is 84? Oh, come on, I'm gonna tell you what is 84. One of the best books.
Sure.
Books. I love that book. It's a great book. And ignorance is strength. As Orwell said before, it's the two lyrics, the last lyrics from the first verse. The master had to be mentioned inside the song.
And and it's the year I graduated. I graduated in 84. Many moons ago.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, the
Yes, of course.
making of this album and listening to your previous album, I was drawn to your lyrics and your lyrical style. I wanted to ask you, what is the focus of your inspiration for writing?
You know, uh, Many things. The first album, I thought about various themes. And if you listen to the first album, if you remember the song until the end, I was, I was watching back in the day the Bates Motel TV series about Norman Bates from Alfred Hitchcock's
Yes.
old-time classic movie Psycho, and then I thought, okay, let's write a song about this guy. Sounds twisted enough for a doom metal song. Um, but also the White Witch. Uh, it was about White Witch is a kind of moth because our crest looks like a moth. But it was also about cocaine. No, I'm not a drug addict, but I wanted to write a song about how about the addiction with drugs and stuff.
Sure.
In Black Lumina, it was a more personal record, personal matters, personal concerns. For example, I when I wrote Colors, the source of the inspiration was so random. I went to my mother's house one day, and she told me, "Why don't you open your desk drawer in your room to, throw stuff away you don't need?" So I thought, yeah, okay, sounds cool. I have some minutes to spare. When I opened this drawer, every item I thought was a portal to my older self, my teenage years, and that's how colors came to life. So random. I just I as human beings we have our dark side and our bright side. I share with the people around me my bright side, and the dark side I turn it into lyrics. Also, the unknown is what's next. We don't know how many years we'll be on this planet,
Sure.
how the next years will be, into the unknown where life leads. And also the artwork of of 19 of the unknown. I'm sorry. It's a dark picture with two numbers. 1994, my birth year,
Mm,
2000, and question marks. The unknown. I don't know.
sure. And I
Uh,
wanted to ask you, you
yeah,
released a video for Dreamer. I wanted to ask you, what location was used for the video?
we we shot the video in the studio,
Oh, wow.
inside the studio, but we have to, take the right angle to cover, stuff and make it a bit dreamy. Yeah, it's in the studio. We just, covered some things, moved away some other things. We just put the keyboards so that they can be visible. They add the artistic touch to the whole result. Yeah, it's the studio.
And
And
the
then
album, oh, go ahead.
and everything else was on the editing and filters and this ethereal vibe that the video brings to the screen.
And another thing that intrigued me was the album artwork for Black Lumina. I wanted to ask you if you could speak on the concept behind it and the artist that was involved.
We made me and Vangelis Yalamas, my the guy behind the chair, my
Mm.
who owns Fragile Studio in Athens. We made this album together. We make all the albums together. We worked together for so many years. A great teacher to me, a great friend. So we were drinking coffee one day before the session, and we were talking about the album title and cover. And our thought was a phrase from an old book. I don't remember the title. Throw a beam of darkness into the light. So we thought, yeah, that sounds cool, right?
Right.
That's the album title. But throw a beam of darkness into the light. It's you're not sure if you're talking about the album title or the whole lyrics. So we had to cut this short. It's a whole sentence. And black light. We use the word lumina for a more artistic touch. So black
Sure.
lumina. And then we had to make a cover that it's straight to the point and also be minimal, just like the songs. So we used Photoshop and created this artwork. It's just an empty white room with a window and a black beam of light coming into the room.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we thought, yeah, that's the cover. Minimal and straight to the point.
And now the album is out. I wanted to ask you, what's the next step for you?
I'm for the time being, I'm just trying to, work some ideas in my head and decide a new musical direction. I will start composing new songs in the summer during summer vacation, where I have peace of
Mm.
mind and stuff. And I'm thinking of following the recipe of Black Lumina, but evolve it somehow. I don't want to make a direct sequel.
Right.
I don't want to make a metal record either, but I want to make a record just like Black Lumina, but a bit different, but in the same direction than Black Lumina. And also, sometime we have to perform these songs on stage, but we don't have plans at the moment. We have to
And
perform live.
and I wanted to ask you as well, could you take me back in time and tell me how your musical journey began?
I back in 2000, 2009, when I discovered that my love for rock and metal music. I was um, I was on a Halloween party with costumes and stuff, and a friend of my uncle was dressed like Slash from Guns N' Roses.
Mm.
And he had this guitar with him, and when I spotted the guitar, I was like, "Hey, well, I need that." So I went to my uncle's bedroom where the guy left the guitar, and I was just holding the guitar in my hand, and yeah, I have to learn to play guitar. And then everything began. Also, a dream that I had as a teenager was one day to hold my album in my hands.
Hmm.
That was the first dream that it was achieved many years later with Morning Clock, the first album. But you know, every coming the coming of a new record is also a dream that came true. And now tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, the CDs will arrive from Black Lumina, and I can't wait to hold this baby in my hands
Sure.
and put it next to the first record. I think that the that would be the most amazing feeling of all. Put it right to the the first album and the second album, because I think everyone can make everyone,
Sure.
but it's easy to make your first album. But I think that uh, not many people get to the second album. Something happens.
Hmm.
Also, many things happen to me too. The two records are have a 6 year gap. Many things happened, many changes, but it came to life. Yeah, and now I want to put it right to the other one and look
Absolutely.
at my
Absolutely.
paintings, on the desk and listen to them.
And speaking of you receiving the CDs, I wanted to ask you, what is the best way to receive this, to get this album and any merchandise that you have?
Can you repeat the question, please? I'm sorry, didn't hear you well.
Absolutely. Now that the album is out, I wanted to ask you, what is the best way to get a hold of this album and any merchandise that you have?
You can order the album to the band's Bandcamp page or to our labels page, Someone Records from France. Also, I'm thinking of making also, but in maybe 2 months, I will make a cassette of the album. Yeah, vintage stuff. I wanted to I wanted to make it a vinyl record too, but it was too expensive, so I just went with the CDs. But I'm gonna make a bundle for CD, cassette, guitar picks. I'm working on it for the time being. Yeah, so the physical records only through our Bandcamp page and to Someone Records from France, Bandcamp page too.
And
For
lastly, I wanted to ask you, my friend, if you could give a message to your fans, what message would you give them?
First of all, thank you for your overwhelming response. It was the feedback I received, and the album traveled very far away and received very good feedbacks. They texted me, fans texted me, it was great. Thank you for being here with me again. Thank you for listening to my music, and can't wait to see you around wherever, on stage, on your texts or whatever. Text.
I wanted to take a moment to thank you, my friend, for delivering an album that I enjoyed from top to bottom. I feel
Thank you
this,
very much appreciated. Thank you.
I love the flow of the album, and I definitely love the lyrical and musical background to this album. I feel this is one of the strongest works I've heard all year this year.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Much appreciated.
And I hope to talk to you again soon, my friend, and we can talk about maybe some upcoming shows.
Yes, of course. Of course.
You take care, my friend. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. You too. Take care.
Take care.
Take care.